I want you to think about the worst thing that ever happened to you, the heartbreak that nearly destroyed you, the failure that humiliated you, the loss that left you questioning everything. Now I want you to consider this disturbing possibility. What if that wasn't a mistake? What if that wasn't random cruelty? What if that was the universe's way of saving your life? You've been lied to about timing. You've been told that good things come to those who wait, but nobody explained what kind of waiting they meant. You've been practicing the wrong kind of patience. The desperate kind, the white-knuckled kind, the kind that's actually pushing away everything you're trying to attract. There's a different way to wait, a way that magnetizes instead of repels, a way that aligns instead of forces. And it changes everything. Let me tell you something that will transform how you see your entire life. The universe doesn't make mistakes with timing, not ever. But first you need to understand something crucial. You've been programmed to believe that your schedule is the universe's schedule, that your impatience is justified, that delay equals denial. This is the greatest illusion of our time, and here's what I've discovered. Every single person who achieves deep fulfillment learns one fundamental truth. They stop trying to force the river. They learn to trust the current. You see, right now, as you listen to these words, something is being prepared for you, something you can't see yet, something your limited perspective can't comprehend. But your ego doesn't want to hear this. Your ego wants control. It wants guarantees. It wants to know exactly when, where, and how your life will unfold. Your ego is terrified of surrender. Think about the last time you forced something, that relationship you tried to save, that job you desperately pursued, that opportunity you chased with white knuckles and sleepless nights. How did that work out for you? Let me share something that might disturb you. The universe has a plan for you that's far grander than anything you could design for yourself. But this plan requires you to let go of your small thinking. Your small thinking says, I need this to happen now. The universe says, I'm preparing something magnificent, but you're not ready yet. Your small thinking says, I know what's best for me. The universe says, your vision is limited to what you can see. Mine encompasses what you need to become. This isn't passive waiting. This isn't resignation. This is active trust. This is conscious alignment with forces far greater than your individual will. True trust means you do your part while allowing the universe to do its part. You plant seeds, you water them, you provide good soil, but you don't dig them up every day to see if they're growing. You don't stand in your garden screaming at the seeds to hurry up. Yet this is exactly what you do with your life, isn't it? You take inspired action, then immediately start demanding results. You meditate for a week and wonder why you're not enlightened. You eat healthy for a month and get frustrated when you don't look like a fitness model. You're living in microwave consciousness in a slow cooker universe. Now let me address the voice in your head that's arguing with everything I'm saying. The voice that's listing all the reasons why waiting is dangerous, why trust is naive, why you can't afford to let go of control. This voice is fear. This voice is your conditioned programming. This voice is the collection of every disappointment, every rejection, every time life didn't go according to your plan. And this voice is lying to you. It's telling you that if you don't push, nothing will happen. If you don't control, everything will fall apart. If you don't force outcomes, you'll be left behind. But consider this. Every single thing you're trying to force is actually being blocked by your forcing. Your desperate energy is repelling the very thing you're trying to attract. You've become the person who's so afraid of drowning that you thrash around in shallow water, creating your own turbulence. Here's what's really happening when you fight against divine timing. You're telling the universe that you don't trust its intelligence. You're declaring that your limited perspective is superior to infinite wisdom. You're trying to be God in your own life. And God doesn't compete. God doesn't argue. God doesn't fight for control. God simply withdraws and waits for you to exhaust yourself with your own resistance. This is why your forced solutions always crumble. Why your manipulated outcomes always disappoint. Why your controlled circumstances always feel hollow. You've been trying to paint a masterpiece with a blindfold on. But what if you remove the blindfold? What if you step back and allowed the master artist to work through you? This requires a fundamental shift in how you see yourself. You're not the author of your story. You're not the director of your movie. You're not the CEO of your life. You're the conscious participant in a divine unfolding. This shift terrifies the ego. The ego's job is to keep you feeling separate, scared, and in control. It can't survive in an environment of trust and surrender. So it will fight this message. It will create urgency where none exists. It will manufacture crises to keep you in fight or flight mode. It will convince you that trust equals weakness. Don't listen. Instead, start paying attention to the synchronicities, the meaningful coincidences, the way doors open just when you need them, the way people appear exactly when you need their guidance. This is the universe communicating with you. This is divine timing in action, but you miss these signs when you're too busy forcing your agenda. You're so focused on making things happen that you miss the things that are trying to happen naturally. You're like someone driving with their eyes glued to the GPS, missing the beautiful scenery all around them. Let me share another story. Kael had been unemployed for 8 months. His savings were running low. His confidence was shattered. Every job interview felt like a rejection of his worth as a human being. He started each day with a desperate energy, sending out resumes with the smell of fear all over them, interviewing with the desperation of someone drowning. No one wanted to hire someone who reeked of desperation. Then Kael had a breakdown, or what he thought was a breakdown. In reality, it was a breakthrough. He finally surrendered. He stopped chasing jobs and started focusing on becoming the person he wanted to be in his work. He began volunteering at a local nonprofit. Not to network, not to build his resume, but because it felt good to contribute, to be useful, to remember his value beyond what someone would pay him. 3 weeks into his volunteer work, the nonprofit's board member approached him. Her company had been looking for someone with his exact skills, someone with his exact values, someone who understood service, not just self-interest. He got the job, but more than that, he found his calling. The universe had been preparing this opportunity for months, but Kael couldn't receive it until he stopped chasing and started aligning. This is how divine timing works. It's not random, it's not arbitrary, it's intelligent, it's purposeful, but it requires your cooperation, not your control. Now, I need to address something that might be making you uncomfortable. The idea that you're not in control, that your plans might not be the best plans, that your timeline might not be the right timeline. This challenges everything you've been taught about success, about achievement, about making things happen. You've been conditioned to believe that life is a competition, that opportunities are scarce, that if you don't grab what you want immediately, someone else will. This is scarcity thinking. This is fear-based living. This is the opposite of trust. Abundance operates differently. Abundance knows there's enough for everyone. Abundance understands that your good doesn't take away from someone else's good. Abundance trusts that what's meant for you cannot pass you by. But abundance requires patience. It requires faith. It requires the ability to delay gratification for something far greater than immediate satisfaction. This is where most people fail. They want abundance, but they operate from scarcity. They want trust, but they live in fear. They want divine timing, but they act from human impatience. You cannot create from abundance while thinking from scarcity. So let me ask you directly, what are you trying to force right now? What are you pushing against? What outcome are you demanding? And more importantly, what would happen if you let go? I know what you're thinking. If I let go, nothing will happen. If I stop pushing, I'll be left behind. If I don't control outcomes, I'll end up with nothing. But this is exactly backwards. Your pushing is what's preventing your receiving. Your controlling is what's blocking your flow. Your demanding is what's stopping your supply. Think about it this way. Have you ever tried to help someone who didn't want your help? Have you ever tried to give a gift to someone who kept insisting they didn't need anything? How did that feel? Frustrating, right? You wanted to give, but their resistance made it impossible. This is what you're doing to the universe. You're asking for help while simultaneously demonstrating that you don't trust its methods. You're requesting guidance while insisting on your own direction. You're trying to receive with clenched fists. The universe wants to give you everything you need, but it can't pour into a closed container. It can't flow through blocked channels. It can't work through someone who's fighting its every move. This is why surrender isn't weakness. Surrender is the ultimate strength. It takes incredible courage to let go, to trust, to allow. But let me be clear about what surrender really means. because most people get this completely wrong. Surrender doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It doesn't mean accepting mediocrity. It doesn't mean giving up on your dreams or settling for less than you deserve. Real surrender means releasing your death grip on how and when your dreams will manifest. It means doing your part while trusting life to do its part. It means planting seeds without digging them up every day to check their progress. It means having the wisdom to distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot control, and then pouring all your energy into what you can actually influence. It takes spiritual maturity to understand that your role is not to control outcomes, but to align with possibilities. But here's what happens when you finally surrender to natural timing. When you stop swimming upstream and allow yourself to be carried by the current, first, your anxiety decreases dramatically. You stop living in constant fight or flight mode. You stop feeling like you're behind some invisible schedule. Second, your intuition becomes clearer. When you're not drowning out guidance with your own noise, you start receiving clear direction. Third, opportunities begin appearing naturally, not because you're chasing them, but because you're in alignment with them. Fourth, your relationships improve. People are drawn to your peaceful energy instead of repelled by your desperate energy. Fifth, you start enjoying the journey instead of just obsessing about the destination. But the most profound change is this. You begin to understand that you're part of something magnificent, something intelligent, something that has your best interests at heart. You stop feeling alone in the universe. You start feeling held by it. This doesn't mean you become passive. This doesn't mean you stop taking action. This means you take inspired action instead of desperate action. Inspired action feels light. It feels natural. It feels like cooperation with life instead of competition against it. Desperate action feels heavy. It feels forced. It feels like you're constantly swimming against the current. So here's your new practice. Before you take any significant action, pause. Feel into your body. Ask yourself, is this inspired action or desperate action? If it feels desperate, wait. Get quiet. Ask for guidance. Trust that the right action will become clear when the timing is right. If it feels inspired, move forward with confidence. Not because you're controlling the outcome, but because you're following your inner guidance. This is what it means to trust perfect timing. You do your part. You follow your inspiration. You take aligned action. But you release attachment to specific outcomes and timelines. You become like a surfer. You don't control the waves, but you work with them. You use their power to carry you toward shore. Let me tell you what's possible when you align with natural flow instead of fighting it. Your life starts to feel magical. Synchronicities multiply. The right people appear at the right moments. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. You stop feeling like you're pushing a boulder uphill. You start feeling like you're dancing with life. But this requires a fundamental shift in your identity. You must stop seeing yourself as the victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as the conscious participant in your own evolution. The universe isn't happening to you, it's happening through you, for you, as you. Every delay is preparing you for something greater. Every closed door is redirecting you toward a better opportunity. Every disappointment is protecting you from something that wasn't truly aligned with your highest good. But you can only see this from the perspective of trust. From the perspective of fear, delays look like punishment. Closed doors look like rejection. Disappointments look like evidence that life is unfair. Same events, different perspective, completely different experience. So choose your perspective carefully. It literally determines your reality. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can continue fighting against the natural flow of your life. You can keep demanding that the universe conform to your timeline. You can exhaust yourself trying to control outcomes. Or you can surrender. You can trust. You can align with the intelligence that created galaxies and seasons and the precise timing of sunrise and sunset. You can stop being a control freak and start being a conscious collaborator. The universe is not your enemy. It's not indifferent to your dreams. It's not withholding good from you. The universe is conspiring for your highest good in ways your mind cannot comprehend. But you must trust the process. You must have faith in the unfolding. You must believe that what's meant for you cannot be delayed, and what's not meant for you cannot be forced. This is not passive resignation. This is active alignment. This is conscious cooperation with forces far greater and wiser than your individual will. And when you finally surrender, when you finally trust, when you finally align with perfect timing, you'll wonder why you ever fought against it. You'll see that every delay was perfectly timed. Every detour was perfectly planned. Every challenge was perfectly designed to prepare you for what was coming. You'll realize that the universe wasn't slow. You were impatient. The universe wasn't wrong. You were trying to force outcomes that weren't in your highest good. And you'll understand, perhaps for the first time in your life, that you are loved. You are guided. You are supported by an intelligence that knows exactly what you need and exactly when you need it. All you have to do is trust. Trust the unfolding. Trust the process. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you need to become. The universe has never made a mistake with timing. Not with the seasons, not with the tides, not with the stars, and not with you. Your life is unfolding in perfect order. Trust it, embrace it, dance with it. And watch as everything you've been forcing finally starts flowing to you naturally. This is your invitation to stop fighting and start flowing, to stop controlling and start trusting, to stop demanding and start receiving. The universe is ready to give you everything your heart desires, but only when you're ready to receive it in the way it's meant to be received. Trust the unfolding. Trust the process. Trust the intelligence that brought you into existence and knows exactly how to bring your dreams into reality. Your time is now. Not to force, but to flow. Not to demand, but to receive. Not to control, but to trust. The universe is waiting for your surrender. Your dreams are waiting for your trust. Your highest good is waiting for your alignment. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Start trusting natural timing. Your entire life will transform when you make this shift, and you'll finally understand what you've been searching for all along. Not control over your life, but deep abiding trust in the intelligence that's been guiding your life all along. Trust the timing of the universe. It has never failed you. It never will. But let me address something that might be troubling you right now. You're thinking about that one time, that moment when you trusted, when you let go, when you believed everything would work out, and it didn't. At least not the way you expected. That heartbreak that shattered your faith. That opportunity that slipped away while you waited. That person who left while you were being patient. That dream that died while you were trusting the process. You're using that pain as evidence that trust is foolish. That divine timing is just pretty words for people who are afraid to take action. I understand. I've been there too. We all have. But here's what you missed in that moment of supposed failure. You were attached to a specific outcome. You weren't truly trusting divine timing. You were trying to use trust as a strategy to get what you wanted. Real trust doesn't come with conditions. Real trust doesn't say, I'll trust the universe as long as it gives me what I want. Real trust says, I trust that whatever happens is for my highest good, even if I can't see how right now. That relationship that ended, it was clearing space for someone who could love you the way you deserve to be loved. That job you didn't get, it was protecting you from a situation that would have limited your growth. That opportunity you missed, it was redirecting you towards something that aligned better with your true purpose. But your ego doesn't want to hear this. Your ego is keeping a scorecard. It's collecting evidence of every time trust didn't work out according to your plans. It's building a case against surrender. Your ego is a lawyer arguing for your limitations. And here's the thing about the ego. It only sees the present moment and the immediate past. It can't see the bigger picture. It can't see how this moment of apparent failure is actually setting up your next breakthrough. The universe operates on a timeline that spans lifetimes. Your ego operates on a timeline that spans hours. This is why patience feels so difficult. This is why trust requires such courage. You're being asked to have faith and intelligence that thinks in decades while you're worried about next week. Let me share another story. A musician who spent 10 years trying to make it in Nashville. 10 years of rejection. 10 years of almost opportunities that never materialized. 10 years of watching less talented musicians get the breaks he deserved. By year 10, he was broken. His marriage was struggling. His finances were destroyed. His confidence was shattered. Everyone told him to give up, to get a real job, to stop chasing impossible dreams. He had a choice: fight harder or surrender completely. He chose surrender. Not giving up, surrender. He stopped trying to force his music career. He took a job teaching music to children. He found joy in service instead of success. He focused on healing his marriage instead of chasing record deals. 6 months later, one of his students' parents heard him play during a recital. She happened to be a music producer who had been searching for exactly his sound for a project she was developing. 20 years later, he's a Grammy-winning songwriter. Not because he forced his way into the industry, but because he aligned with his purpose and allowed the industry to find him. The 10 years of rejection weren't wasted time, they were preparation time. They were character building time. They were deep roots growing time. The universe was preparing him for success he couldn't have handled at 25. Success that required the wisdom only failure can teach. Success that demanded the humility only surrender can create. But he couldn't see this during the dark years. All he could see was delay, denial, evidence that his dreams were foolish. This is where you are right now with something in your life. You're in the preparation phase, the character building phase, the deep roots growing phase. And it feels like nothing is happening. You're watching other people get what you want. You're seeing doors open for others while yours remain closed. You're wondering if you're being punished for some unknown sin. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. But preparation doesn't feel like progress. Preparation feels like stagnation, like you're being left behind while everyone else moves forward. This is the test. This is where most people give up. Right before their breakthrough, right before their season changes, right before everything they've been working toward finally comes together, they give up in winter, not knowing that spring is just around the corner. Don't be one of those people. Don't quit in the darkest hour of the night, not knowing that dawn is approaching. Your breakthrough is not late, it's right on time. But it's operating on divine timing, not human impatience. Here's what I need you to understand about seasons. Winter isn't punishment. Winter is preparation. Seeds don't grow in winter, but they're doing essential work underground. They're developing root systems strong enough to support the growth that's coming. You are in your winter season with certain areas of your life. Nothing visible is happening. But everything essential is happening. Your roots are growing deeper, your character is strengthening, your faith is being tested and refined, your vision is being clarified. When spring comes, and it will come, you'll have the foundation necessary to support the growth that's waiting for you. But most people try to force spring in the middle of winter. They dig up their seeds to see if they're growing. They demand flowers when it's time for root development. They sabotage their own growth by refusing to honor the season they're in. What season are you in right now? And more importantly, are you honoring that season or fighting against it? If you're in a season of waiting, learn to wait well. Use this time to develop patience, trust, and inner strength. Use this time to clarify your vision and strengthen your faith. If you're in a season of loss, learn to grieve well. Allow yourself to feel the pain without rushing toward healing. Loss clears space for new growth, but only if you honor the emptiness first. If you're in a season of growth, learn to grow sustainably. Don't try to expand faster than your roots can support. Build strong foundations that can handle the success that's coming. If you're in a season of harvest, learn to receive gratefully. Enjoy the fruits of your patience and trust. Share your abundance with others who are still in their planting seasons. Every season has its purpose. Every season has its gifts. But you can only receive those gifts when you stop fighting your current season and start embracing it. The universe doesn't make mistakes with seasons. It doesn't make mistakes with timing. It doesn't make mistakes with you. Trust the season you're in. Trust the timing of your life. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you need to become. Your time is coming, not when you demand it, but when you're ready for it, when you've developed the wisdom to handle it, when you've built the character to sustain it. Until then, be patient, be trusting, be willing to do the inner work that this season requires. The universe is not keeping good from you. It's preparing you for good beyond your current ability to imagine. Trust the timing, trust the process, trust the love that's orchestrating every detail of your life for your highest good. Your breakthrough is not late, it's right on time. The universe is holding your dreams in perfect safety, waiting for the moment you're ready to receive them without destroying them. Waiting for you to develop the wisdom to handle them, the strength to sustain them, the character to deserve them. That moment is closer than you think, but it requires one thing from you. It requires you to stop trying to take your dreams by force and start allowing them to be given to you in love. Trust the timing, trust the process. Trust the love that's been orchestrating your life since the moment you were born. Your season is coming, and when it arrives, you'll understand why everything else had to wait.